Hello everybody, my name is Brian, and in this video what we're going to talk about is melodic ear training. So this is going to be your introduction to it, and let's just dive right in. So I'm going to give you two sets of notes, and I want you to guess or predict or whatever. I want you to identify as best you can which pitches are closer to each other in sound and which pair of pitches is further away in sound. So here we go. Example 1 and example 2. So I'm going to play it 3 times, but keep in mind, I want you to figure out which pitch is closer to each other in sound and which set of pitches are farther away. So example 1 and then example 2. So which set of pitch is further away and which is closer? Again, example 1 and example 2. So if you guessed example 1 as being the further pitch, and if you guessed that example 2 is the closer pitch, you were right, okay? So if just the screen, I'm going to do it one more time in a different area. So let's see. Which pitch is closer to the starting note? Is it example 1? Or is it example 2? Again, which pitch is closer to the starting note? Example 1 or example 2? Okay. If you guessed example 1 as being the closer pitch, you're correct. Okay. So a lot of people don't have too much trouble with that. Think about it as sound and like almost like throwing a ball, where in this first example, the ball was kind of thrown a certain distance, and then the second example, it was thrown a whole lot further, right? So that's kind of the analogy I use to help teach it. If you're learning about this, you may or may not know, but there's an actual measurement of sound distance that those two sets are. And so if we go back to that last example, the first set was what's called a fifth, and the second set is what's called an eighth. If you have any vocal background, you would learn this as do, re, mi, fa. So you would learn this as do, so, and you'd learn the second one as do, do. Okay, but we're not doing vocal stuff for this. So where do they come up with the fifth and the eighth? Why are they called that? Well, if you played a major scale from that starting point and you counted and you went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you would end up getting that first example that I had given. And that's why it's called the fifth, because it's the fifth note in the scale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So kind of think about it almost like a ruler, where you have 1 inch, 2 inch, 3 inch, 4 inch, and then 5 inch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then that second example is an 8. So if you kept counting up the ruler, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And that's why it's called an 8. Now, the other part of ear training is being able to identify those sounds without having to like sit there and imagine a scale or whatever. I remember being a little kid and learning about, inches, feet, and yards or whatever, and it was easy to understand a foot because there was a ruler, right? You could see a 12-inch ruler, and it was easy to see what a foot was. And even a yard, like there was a yardstick, right? So it was kind of easy to see what a yard was. And when somebody told me that something was about 100 yards, I remember thinking, gosh, are they just stacking 1 yard like 100 times in their imagination? And that was a really silly way of going about it. It wasn't until I saw a football field, which was 100 yards, that I understood what 100 yards looked like. So music kind of has an equivalent thing. So there's a lot of melodies or sets of notes that start off with a fifth. And so if we start over, we're going to kind of listen to the fifth. There's tons of songs that start off like that, but the most common one that I use is the Star Wars theme. So the Star Wars theme starts off with the bum bum, so on and so forth, right? But the first two notes of the Star Wars theme is bum bum. And that distance, that Star Wars distance, is a fifth. So anytime you hear that distance, you can go, oh, Star Wars. That's probably the main thing, is going, okay, that's the Star Wars distance. And then if you can convert that into numbers through memorization by going, Star Wars is a fifth, then you can say, hey, that's a fifth. Other songs you can use one of the Jurassic Park themes that goes like this. So that starts off with, so it starts off with a fifth. Dun, 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 dun. Na, 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 na. I also had one student say that's the Top Gun theme, which it is. It's over here in C, I believe, but so the starting notes of the Top Gun theme is bum bum bum. So there's tons of songs that start off with a fifth. Whatever sounds coolest to you, try to latch onto that and use that to help you in this next bit. Okay, the second example was an octave, right? And that was that. There's a few songs that start like this, but probably most famously is the Wizard of Oz theme, or for those of you in Hawaii or Hawaiianophiles, we have the Somewhere Over the Rainbow song, which goes somewhere. So the first two notes of the Somewhere Over the Rainbow melody is a giant octave leap. Somewhere, compared to Star Wars, right? Ba 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 ba. Somewhere, somewhere. Yeah, so it's up there. Okay. So now that you know that, you have the Star Wars distance, which is a fifth, and you have the octave distance, or an eighth, which is Somewhere Over the Rainbow. Think about that when I do this next minute or so of ear testing. So I'm going to just start somewhere, and I'm going to play a set, and I'm not going to give you two to compare. I'm just going to go for one or the other. Okay? So here we go. What jingle is that? Is that Star Wars or Somewhere Over the Rainbow? So I'm going to play it 3 times each time. So this is the third time. Okay, answers are in. That's Somewhere Over the Rainbow. That's an octave. So if you said 8 or Somewhere Over a Rainbow, good job. If you said 5th, that's okay. Let's keep working at it. Okay, next round. Okay, what's that? Is that a 5th or an 8th? One more time. Okay, the answer is that's an 8th. That's an octave. That's Somewhere Over the Rainbow. Okay, here we go. Okay, what's that? One more time. So that would be the Star Wars distance. That's a 5th. Okay, next round. Okay, what's that? One more time. Okay, the answer to that is octave. What's that? That would be a 5th. That's the Star Wars distance. Okay, let's keep going at it. Any idea? One more time. That is an octave. That's Somewhere Over the Rainbow. Next round. Any idea? Sometimes singing it helps. Bum, bum. That's gonna be a 5th. That's Star Wars. octave. What's that? If you guess octave, you were right. That's an octave. And that is a fifth. Now, if you like that, or if you found that challenging, or whatever it is, I highly encourage you to use the website called musictheory.net. They have an ear trainer there, and you can use that to kind of test yourself. But that is only half of it, right? And so thanks for tuning in. That was your inaugural melodic ear training video. How did you do? Leave it in the comments below. Check you next time.